All right, welcome all you urban gardeners out there to another Wednesdays live here on the Urban Gardener channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me here today on this live stream here. Sorry for the little late startup, and you'll probably notice what my problem was. I was trying to get rid of, I've got some flies flying around right now. Got one who's really, really annoying right now as I was trying to get set up and everything. And not only the fly problems, I got also a computer problem. So I'm kind of flying solo here. So I'm hoping, or I mean, solo as with my camera here and the phone. So I'm going to try to keep up with any sort of messages or any sort of comments anybody leaves as it comes up there. My laptop, as I'm getting set up here, decided that this was the time it wanted to do the Windows update. And once it gets going, it's going. So, at this point, I've got no way of looking at the screen and seeing if everything's going or being able to keep track of some of the comments. So I'm going to try to make sure I get right on them as I see them coming up there and all of that, which what I really want to do right now is encourage all of you who are joining in with us here live right now to leave me a comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know your name, where you're from, what's growing on in your garden, any questions, all that sort of stuff. So I hope to hear some of those or see some of those comments coming in, and I'll try to keep really good track of those. And for all of you out there who are joining us on the replay right now, I really want to thank you for watching in and coming in and checking out this live stream on the replay. And what you can do is just hit down in the comments section below and leave us some comments, questions, anything like that. It's like I said. And then those sort of questions or anything like that, we can get to on the next week's Live Wednesdays episode here. So, hopefully I'll try not to be too distracted, but I'm just trying to keep up with the computer as it's going through its updates so I can get loaded back on here. I wasn't even really able to get onto the group or the Facebook page and all of that. Who do we got? JDS, hello my friend. Hey, thanks for joining me here, man. Great to have you here with us on the live stream and all of that. But like I said, I've got I've got this one. I try to get loaded in. Wasn't able to even go and let anybody know that the live stream was getting started and do those sort of things I like to get set up before we actually get going here live. So I'm kind of stuck doing that there and all of that. So yes, just a big, huge welcome to all of you who are here with us today, live or on the replay. Thank you so much for joining me. It's one of the fun things here. We're trying to get back on track and do these live Wednesdays. And last week, well, with all of the technical difficulties, this and that, just trying to keep up and he says, thanks for JDS. Thanks to you for sharing all of your knowledge. Well, I thank you for actually listening to some of the things that I say out there and all of that stuff. Some of the things that I do, knowledge, one of the things I talk about when I'm especially visiting some of these other really great gardeners out there and stuff is really trying to emphasize the fact that I'm not really a teacher, but I will give you the best information that I know, that I'm growing with, that I'm working with, the things that I've seen succeed in my garden. I'm going to show you some of those things on my videos, all of that sort of stuff. So I'm going to give you the best garden knowledge that I can possibly give to you at the time, but it doesn't mean that I'm not completely wrong or make some mistakes and do some things. In fact, I have to address one big one coming up in an episode here real soon. And we'll talk about that. And then after that, we'll talk about a little bit more on the live stream following that episode and whatnot too. But I do have one really big mistake I made. I did put it right on a video and really just, I'm going to show you the results, talk about that sort of stuff on video in an upcoming episode as a small segment or something to one of our upcoming episodes. I've got plenty of things to start showing you guys. It's middle of summer right now, and even though we got a late start, we got a lot of really, really great things growing on. So that's why it's really great to be able to get out here and talk with all of you guys. Let's see, so I'm looking into Korean natural farming and FPJ. Yes. Oh, there's so many great farming methods out there and growing methods out there. There's just so many things and ways to do and grow quality food, and it's just really encouraging out there to be able to find so many different methods and things like that. But that's also one of the things that makes gardening just really, really fun, is to be able to try some of these different things that we never even thought of, coming from different cultures and all of that. That's even bigger. and I've got to try on some of those different types of things. I wish I kind of had a kind of a bigger land type of thing and be able to do a market garden and be able to really try some different really cool like farming type methods in that sort of organic way. But things to look forward to hopefully in the future for myself, maybe. But hopefully that you have some really good results from trying out some of that stuff, and then come back and share some of that with us, when you do that too as well. So also, one of the things I want to do mentioned, as I'm trying to keep up here, Universal is awesome and gardening always good to venture out. Yes, absolutely. Great comment right there, and that's absolutely true. That's one of the things, like I said, about gardening is just, so many different ways of doing different things. Sometimes there's just things that are wrong, aren't going to work, and it's good to get some of that stuff out there. But, there's a lot of people who can grow and do things in ways that don't work for other people. So sometimes some advice and things like that, might not necessarily be exactly true or not when you're getting those you can't do things type of stuff. So that's what makes gardening fun, is to be able to experiment and try and work with some of those things yourself, and to be able to get some of the knowledge through firsthand experience. Just getting your hands in the dirt, getting out there, growing up some really good stuff and all of that. But let's see. We got the welcome in. I want to mention too. Growing Up Garden. Thanks. What's going on, man? What's up? When are you coming my way? Looking forward to seeing you at the Heirloom Expo. Yes, and that will be when I'm coming your way. Unfortunately, some of the things that I've been trying to do, I did have a trip I wanted to do up north towards Portland and Seattle this summer, but because of a lot of certain things that have kind of happened here and all that sort of stuff, I wasn't able, I had to postpone that idea and whatnot. So my next trip, the next venture I'm going to be taking is back down to the Bay Area. We're going to try to venture out outside of the Heirloom Expo like we try to do, and get a couple of different features, as well as go to the wonderful Heirloom Expo. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a note and kind of talk about that a little bit more here in just a little bit there. But one of the things I really want to do right off the bat here, before we get too far into this, is I really want to welcome and thank anybody out there who's watching or viewing either live or on the replay, who's one of our newest subscribers. And it's one of the things that's just really fun for me in doing this channel and all that sort of stuff, is seeing new people come on board and venture into our garden adventures out here with us on the Urban Gardener, and see some of the things that we've got growing on here and all of that, and joining in with this cool Urban Gardener community. We got literally over 200 new subscribers over the last few weeks. That's just amazing. We're growing at a really good pace. We've met some really cool goals as far as the channel and all of that's concerned. So, this is just getting more and more exciting than ever, being able to share my garden experience, my garden adventures with all of you guys. And, and especially this live Wednesdays, to be able to get out and hang out with you guys for an hour or so each Wednesday, talk about our gardens, talk about what we got going on the channel here, get a chance to really connect with all of you guys. It's just really wonderful, awesome experience. These Windows updates take forever, and it's really ridiculous. I really wish I could see the actual replay through YouTube. Is what I kind of do, is I have the laptop and I can see it down below and I can see how things are going. And it also gives me a chance to be able to see whether or not everything's flowing through right. If not, I just got basically the phone camera here and it goes forward. And as I found out last week, my phone camera doesn't let me know anything about what's going on as far as interruptions and all that sort of stuff. It just kind of to me seems like I'm just kind of continuing to film and do all that sort of stuff. So right now, I'm really hoping for this Windows update to finish soon. If not, we're just gonna do this as we have to, I was kind of worried about that as we got started, but you know what? We can make it happen. We can make it work. I'll just, like I said, try to keep up with all the comments as they're popping up on the screen here on my phone. Just means I got to kind of lean in a little bit and read them and kind of do all that sort of stuff. One big kind of important thing I did actually too, I wanted to get and talk about here real quick, is, I was just mentioning new subscribers and how wonderful that is to be growing as a channel. And one of the cool things about that is that all of you out there who have joined up with me have really improved and made my life really fun, more adventurous. This sort of thing has just really been a blast for me, and I'm really enjoying all of you who've come along and joined along with me. But when I first got started doing this, there were only a few people who was watching the channel, was checking out and commenting and keeping me encouraged to do what I'm doing and all of that. Hey, Wisconsin vegetable gardener, just watched the little interview you did with Nick Fitteroff. Loved it. It was really great. Nick's a really great guy. I had really fun hanging out with him down in Los Angeles and everything. I've talked about that before and all that. But I want to get back to what I'm talking about real quick here. And that's the problem with doing this like this too, is that I gotta try to keep up with the comments as they're coming in. And you know, I do want to kind of talk about what I'm going to say here. What kind of things are you adding to your soil? Are you making your own compost? Wisconsin says thank you. Yes, I'll talk about that in just a minute. Growing up gardens. Just wanted to kind of say, you know, I've got a real special viewer who always comments on everything, always shares, always does stuff. She's always in contact with me, always doing certain things to really kind of keep me up and whatnot. So even during down times, you know, she's got you know me on Messenger and whatnot, and just always sending me really good thoughts and all of that sort of stuff when I'm dealing with certain things. And that viewer is Nancy. She's you know, you'll see her on comments on all the videos and all of that sort of stuff. She's just a really, really wonderful person when it comes to just, well, being a person and everything. You know, I just really have enjoyed having her. She's been there since really the beginning, and I wanted to send out, and hopefully everybody else here in the Urban Gardener community and all of that sort of stuff can send out some thoughts for her right now. And her daughter is going through some real traumatic issues. She's in an ICU unit right now in a hospital on a breathing tubes right now. And I've been kind of thinking about this all day leading up to this live stream and all that sort of stuff, and how kind of, you know, how I feel in that position when it comes to my daughter and all that sort of stuff. So you know, it really kind of, you know, I'm really kind of worried for her in a sense, and in that sort of sense, but at the same time really, really hopeful that everything's going to be really, really okay for her and her family. And I just wanted to send that out here from the Urban Gardener and all of us here in the wider Urban Gardener community and family out there, sending out a lot of thoughts to you, Nancy, and your family while you're dealing with some really really difficult issues right now. And the best to you, and I hope that everything's going to be okay. You know what I mean? And like I said, I just, as a father, as someone who truly, my daughter is my life, and I just, you know, can't even imagine having to deal with some of those sort of things and stuff. I've had to deal with, you know, larger family issues and people dealing with some stuff, you know, and all of that, and I know what it's like to deal with really traumatic and tough things as you're going through them in that sort of manner. But when it's someone else and someone you really love and care about and all of that, and you're having to kind of just sit by and hope for, you know, it's just really difficult. So I want to send that out to you, Nancy, and really hopefully everything really goes good, and hopefully we'll get to hear from you soon, and everything will be all great in the gardens again for you. Okay, so all of us are thinking about your daughter, and let me take a look here. Is, you know, I just can't emphasize how much it is the wider community out there who is welcoming me into their lives and all of that sort of stuff. As I've expanded into this whole idea of building a YouTube channel and sharing my gardens and all that sort of stuff. So all of you guys really have a special meaning to me, you know, as you communicate with me, and you really make all of this what it is. And Nancy is just one of those people who's been there from the beginning. She's, you know, she watches everything, she comments, she likes, she shares, she does everything all the time. She's really, really a super fan, and I just super appreciate everything she does for the Urban Gardener and all of that, and all of you out there who, you know, do the same things too. You know, always leaving comments, always hitting the like button, you know, sharing when you can, and all of that sort of stuff. Those are really important things for a channel that's growing. Like I said, you know, we got people coming in and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, as we're continuing to grow, let's really push it, and let's really make the Urban Gardener have a really, really great year as we get going into well, we got to finish this year first, but as we get going into this next year and so on and all of that, that we can really just see some really good, great growth and welcome all these new people into our urban gardener community. And you know that's just a really important thing. I just wanted to kind of get that through and talk about all of that. Um, let's see here. So one of the things, I did just publish an episode, so I don't know if everybody got a chance to check out our latest episode on the Urban Gardener. We're up to, like, I think, gosh, what is it, 93? It was like episode 93. 93 episodes of the actual Urban Gardeners. We got some really great episodes. You can go back to the catalog, check out a lot of those really cool ones and stuff, but we just put together one this last week. And I was talking about my corn and how the saying is that you want your corn to be knee high by the 4th of July. That's when you got your corn on pace to be growing just right and all that sort of stuff. So I got a late start to everything, and 4th of July comes around. I thought I'd get out there and film an episode, talk about the corn and where we're at and all of that. And they're coming up a little bit. They're doing good. They're on their way. They'll get up there. I'm sure that we're going to get some production from them and everything too, though. But I kind of wanted to do an episode and talk about that. Talk about how I kind of get corn moving just a little bit faster to, just save a couple of days on the germination process and all of that. So I kind of show a little method that I use to do that. And I got a little update too to the back alleyway corn row that we planted out in that episode too. So I got a little update that'll come in the next Urban Gardener episode that we film here at the Urban Garden. So it was really kind of cool to get out there and do that. And then we also kind of took a look around on the side gardens and everything, and I showed you basically my cabbage worm ravaged cabbages that that I have. They're actually, they're forming some pretty nice, decent cabbage heads. And since I even filmed the episode, so if you check out the episode, you'll see that they're forming some nice cabbage heads on them. They're getting bigger and looking nicer and everything, so I'm a little more hopeful and all of that. That the pressure on the leaves and all of that isn't really affecting too much the actual production of the head of cabbage that we get. So hopefully we'll film that up here in another week or so as I actually harvest those heads off. And also, one of the other things we looked at was like, we talked about the blood orange tree. We haven't talked about that one actually. It's probably since the episode came out. I think in the first year that we were doing the channel and everything. So we did a episode, which is one of the more popular episodes we have. So if you just look into the popular uploads part of the channel here, you'll see the episode Citrus in Containers with Martine Brichot, who has a YouTube channel where he kind of focused on more containers and growing citrus out of containers, big containers, and getting these really nice, awesome, beautiful citrus trees that he grew in his garden and everything. So he met up with us in Sacramento, and we got to talk about his tips and all of that sort of stuff when it comes to purchasing a new tree and getting it started in a container for your garden and everything. So there's some really good advice and all of that in that episode. But hadn't shown that tree because that tree actually had a pretty good difficult time getting acclimated to Southern Oregon from where it was from, I guess. I don't know. The winter's just a little bit more harsher here than it is in Sacramento, even though Sacramento's just not that far away. But the climate's just a little bit different. It's a zone difference. So tree had a rough time. I tried to use some overwintering measures for it and all of that, and did not do very well. Didn't like it and everything. I ended up having to pull it into the house at the very extreme part of winter. And then at that point, I brought it back out in the spring. It regrew, looked pretty decent and everything, looked okay. So I was kind of hopeful, just didn't get any flowers or anything like that. And then come fall time though, as it was getting colder and the cold snap started hitting, I brought it right inside. and did really well for first couple of months while it was inside. I had it under some light, you know, and all of that sort of stuff, and then actually started producing some flowers. And I don't know if there's anything greater. I mean, there's wonderful flowers out there. I love a lot of flowers, but citrus flowers are amazing. And to have them inside your house and just blooming and letting off all of that scent around your house is just amazing. So this place smelled really, really good during the wintertime this last winter. But we did end up getting spider mites all over the tree. Really, really attacked it really hard, and I tried a couple of measures to, you know, to see what I could do to fix it and get it taken care of. And believe it or not, and I just because I don't think I didn't mention this, but all all I really did was just soaked that tree every single night and washed them off every single night for like a week straight. I just soaked the tree, got a spray bottle and just and soaked and got in every nook and cranny and everything and just washed that tree for a week. And boom, gone, everything, no problem. Started getting some good regrowth, got it back outside, and it's looking really, really nice this year. So I'm really hoping we'll get some really good growth, be able to kind of maintain that good cycle for it, and then hopefully maybe get some sort of fruit growth here in the next year or so in off of the tree. I'm just really enjoy getting just to see that it's actually starting to produce the flowers. And if that's all that tree ever does is produce flowers, I'm probably going to be okay with that, because it just is an amazing, just amazing fragrance. So definitely get some citrus trees, get them growing. They grow really well in containers, as Martin has shown in his channel before, you know. So and I've seen a lot of other people grow them and do very well in containers too. So I'm hoping actually to maybe even get something more of a lemon type of tree that I can grow that's from my region right here and really hardy to this region, and then be able to keep it in a nice container too to kind of go with the orange tree too. So that's something I'm hoping to get done here soon as well, and have that growing along in the gardens too. So yeah, so we got to talk about that. That was kind of something that was just there. So it was on, you know, I was showing something else on the camera. It was just there. So I was like, okay, let's, you know, kind of show this and kind of give you a little update on that. And then we did a little look at the blueberry bushes too. The blueberry bushes growing on the side of the house. I'm pointing right now, like it's just behind me actually on the side of the alleyway there. But there's blueberries, and and really they're growing really well, and we're producing a lot of berries. Before I had to kind of take off this last few weeks ago and kind of just leave things, which really kind of sucked. But especially when it came to thinking about all those blueberries that were on the bushes, I was really looking forward to being able to pull all those off and get some of them. But eventually, I'm sure as they ripened up, there was probably birds that came by and ate them and everything. And I haven't been really geared for the production and them actually producing that much for this year. Haven't really been thinking about that. So I've just kind of letting them grow to kind of see where they go and what they're going to do. We'll prune them back just a little bit to kind of pull them off of the actual alleyway road itself, so they don't grow out towards that. So I want to kind of prune them so they get some growth going in that direction. And then possibly next season, if they're going to be producing berries again really well, then I'm going to get some sort of netting, and we're going to put some netting over those in order to protect them from the birds from coming and taking them. And you never know, somebody they're in an alleyway too, and it's right where people are walking by and coming through, also right near where the sidewalk is on the front street and everything as well too. So some people could have seen them, nice blueberries, and grabbed them, picked them up, and had them, and so be it, you know. Whereas I think even at that point, the netting would probably protect them from people as well as birds too. So it's probably a good idea to get that sort of thing set up for this next season as they're growing and all of that. So kind of took a look at those, shows you what those blueberries are looking like in their second season growing there in the alleyway. And then the big kind of update I wanted to show everybody in that episode though too was showing you all the container potatoes. We had some container potatoes that we got started up again this year, and basically kind of get to growing up gardens question a little bit earlier about keeping soil or if I do compost or anything like that. I do kind of compost down soil that I get and purchase, you know what I mean? I don't have, you know, I do compost a lot of the leftovers and the yard waste and that sort of stuff in a little kind of compost pile that I have in the back. Actually, they're kind of two different ones I've kind of set up there. So I kind of have those. I just haven't used much for them at all. What I have is kind of a spot where I set up soil and just, you know, because a lot of it's really wood chippy and all of that sort of stuff. So I kind of buy up a bunch of soil and then let it sit through, you know, probably a bunch more coming up here real soon to sit through like the fall, the winter, and then, you know, give it a good time to sit and just kind of break down a little bit more and do that sort of stuff. And then I add some sort of organic type of fertilizers and that sort of stuff to kind of boost up the microbes or all that sort of stuff. This, you know, it seems like it's done pretty well this year. And last year too, was the peppers did really, really well with that mixture that I used and everything. So kind of following with that similar thing, just kind of trying to let the stuff that I buy, so I buy it way ahead of time and then I let it break down and then I use that soil come the next spring and stuff as I'm, you know, kind of topping off certain stuff like that or whatever. Or like with the back alleyway that I showed with the corn, I do lay out bags of this kind of local compost that I buy, and it's kind of, you know, woody, but I kind of lay it out on the top layer so it breaks down throughout the season, breaks down and gets into the soil and all that sort of stuff. But you don't want to just try planting, say, in a container with those sort of things because you know, plants aren't going to grow very well in a very woody type of soil medium. So I don't, you know, so I want to make sure that stuff breaks down really well before I use it in my containers. Versus, say, the stuff that's in the ground around the alleyways and the little garden spots that we have, where I actually top it off each year with different, like I said, a local compost. And it's, you know, it's got some good wood chips and stuff like that in it, which makes a good top layer, basically a nice compost mulch for everything. So but I use the broken down stuff that I use for our container potatoes. And oh, and I wanted to mention Growing Up Garden again too, because you go check out his channel. Some of the videos that he does a cool growing 100 pounds potato experiment that he's been doing on his channel. So that's something you can go out and check out some of his videos on how he's grown potatoes on his gardens and whatnot too. Maybe we'll, I think we talked about it a little bit when we visited him in our last episode that we had with him on our episode. So you can check that out in our past episodes with Growing Up Garden. And we'll probably go by and visit again too when we get down and go visit at the National Heirloom Expo coming up this year as well too. But the big update I wanted to show was the container potatoes. They're just booming along. They're doing really great. Even during the time that I wasn't there to take care of them or do anything, you know, it seemed like they started to die back a little bit, but as I started to feed them and water them again, we got some new growth coming out of them. So I was kind of thinking, oh, they're gonna, you know, maybe it was just because of the neglect that they were kind of dying back. So I was kind of worried that that was the case. But over the last, since I did that video, actually, over the last few days or so, it's really just starting to show the signs that it's about done. So those plants are probably going to be done. So that'll be something we can actually look forward to in upcoming episodes, is to do a nice container potato harvest of this year's container potatoes with all the different changes that we made, which you can check out in our container potato video that we did in the past videos for this season. It's I wish I could remember the number it was or whatnot, but it's container potatoes. It was just, you know, several episodes back. You'll see it in our video section of the Urban Gardener on YouTube here. And you know, I go over the different changes and the things that we did different from the last couple of years, because if you follow it along, you'll see that my container potatoes haven't done too well, which was really kind of weird. That before I started doing this channel, I grew them in these same containers. I had them in a very, it did almost exactly the same thing when I started doing that first video, and just had a terrible results where I had pretty decent results the year before. So I was really kind of excited about doing that and showing that in the first season that I made this, I was making these videos and everything. But it was kind of a real bummer and letdown. And as I show you too, is that, you know, not everything works out the way you hope or the way you plan them to in the gardens. That's, so the gardens, a lot of give and take sometimes, and sometimes some years it's just not working out as well as you would hoped. So the year before I really had some good results. So I thought, let's, just emulate that. Let's do that all over again and do that on video and show it for everybody. And not getting some really good results, just kind of was a real kind of letdown. But at the same time, it was really kind of fun to be able to show people that, not all the time when you're gardening or you're doing things, or even if you've seen similar results from doing similar things, sometimes other factors are involved, and some that you might not see, or not be able to tell, or whatnot is going on. And so you're going to get a little bit of a different result this season versus some other seasons, so that just kind of happens too. The only bummer was is that we went and did it the very next season, and I changed it up by getting actual seed potatoes, and they were basically just the general seed potatoes you get all over the place, like Home Depot, Walmart, all those. They're always just out in the springtime, selling them in the little boxes and all that. So we bought up a couple of those, tried the seed potatoes to see if that was going to make the difference for us, and still similar results. Probably got about the same amount out of the containers and everything. So this year we tried to make and do some real changes, and I don't even know the results yet too, because those things you grow that are in the ground and you can't see and you don't know until you dig them up, well, that's the thing. We just got to go wait until we dig in there and we see if any of those sort of things that we did made a difference or not. And this Windows update is still going, so we're looking on well over an hour or more too, because I tried to get it going way before I got live and all that sort of stuff. So everything seems to be going all right. And like I said, post some comments and let me know where you're growing, where you're growing from, where you're watching from. And if you're here on the live video feed, I'm welcome here, and glad to have you along with me while I'm kind of rambling on about a bunch of stuff. And that's what I kind of talk about, is I want to talk about the gardens. I want to talk about how things are growing. I want to hear about your gardens though too. I want to hear about how things are growing for you. And even if things are not working out too well, maybe you want to discuss those sort of things. Maybe between us and other people out there, we can find some solutions and help those sort of things out. And so that's kind of what this format is for us to be able to kind of get together, talk and chat about all that sort of stuff. So believe me, it just takes a comment to kind of stop me and interrupt me here, and then we can get on to talking about those sort of things like that. But other than that, just a lot of fun things that we talk about with the channel there and everything that we did with this last episode, showing everybody about the corn, getting some updates on some things that we did in some previous episodes to that and all of that. So it was really kind of a fun little episode. It was really cool. I hope that you all, after this, after you watch this live Wednesdays here, go and check that video out and everything. It's give it a big thumbs up too, as well as this video too. While you're here, hit that thumbs up button. Give this live stream a like too. All that stuff's really, really important, so as you're watching and you're checking things out, or you're listening along and all of that, punch in a little comment, hit the like button, and definitely, one of the other things, I'm going to talk a lot more as we get moving on here, especially towards our 100th episode for this channel, which, I talked about gaining 200 subscribers over the last few weeks. I mean, how about, 100 episodes altogether, and if you watch the videos, they're not just simple videos. I put a lot of time and effort and work into a lot of some of them, and show as much as I can and do things, with some cool speed ups and all of that sort of stuff, and close-ups in there to show you the plants and all that sort of stuff, as well as having some fun with the channel as well. If a lot of you know, or if you don't know, it's always worth it to watch the videos till the very end of the video. And if you watch right past the green screen, it's like going to the theater and you're watching a movie and the credits are rolling and all the credits are done, and they put that little thing at the end, and they give you some sort of either some sort of cool thing, that had to tie in some sort of element of the movie, Or in our case with the urban gardener, if you're waiting through that little end part right there, you're kind of rewarded with some kind of fun little bloopers and or little things that kind of happen, as I'm kind of filming and doing things, It's a little different than live. I'm trying to just kind of put forth a certain thing, and I'm trying to get a certain thing filmed and all of that. So some of it gets kind of fun as I blabber around. Our zucchini is insane this year. We went back on vacation for 5 days, and oh, that's where I'm kind of. There we go. There we go. 5 days, and when we got back, we harvested at least 50 pounds. Seems like that. Well, zucchini. Wow, yeah. And not only that, you probably got, leaving them for a while, you probably got some really, really big ones too out of that too. Um, Zucchini can just go crazy, and that's the one squash I always have some really good success with. So hopefully we'll have some really good ones to show on video too this year as well. Um, and that's the thing, sometimes when you go for a little while, and you're gone for a little while, sometimes your plant kind of takes a rest from you. And at that point in time, they just kind of get a chance to boom and do what they need to do and all that sort of stuff, and they grow. And especially with like zucchinis and squash and all of that, you can turn your back for a day or two, and next thing you know, there's just fruit all over the place. So um, that's really great. I'm really, it's really awesome you got all of that really great zucchini. It's one of my favorite squash and whatnot too. So I'm really looking forward to a couple of different varieties I'm trying and are growing out there. But um, I don't know. I keep saying planted late, but I don't know necessarily. They're just really young right now, and everybody else is harvesting fruits. So, and mine aren't there yet. So I don't know what I'm gonna get. And maybe I was a bit late. I'm not too sure. But we got some. Yeah, he says there was a lot of huge ones. Yeah, yeah. Zucchini, they'll just start to balloon up. Once you start letting them sit back. Let them sit and grow and all of that too. I've pulled out some big, big monsters, but preferable taste is those ones in the nice smaller range and all of that. But there's just a lot of things you can do with them at all different sizes. Even the bigger ones, similar like cucumbers. You want them at a nice tasty size at a certain size, but then the ones that kind of get overgrown or hidden back in the bush somewhere you didn't quite see and they get bigger. With cucumbers, those are the ones I actually like to make and put in my water. I put some ice water together when it's a hot day and I'm out gardening and all of that. I'll have a nice little pitcher of ice water, and I use those big cucumbers just for their flavor, and I chop them up and get that sweet cucumber flavor for my water and all of that. Those work really well for that. But yeah, that's really awesome. Great, great harvest of zucchinis, and I'm really kind of jealous at the moment that you do get to have some right now, because like I said, I'm still waiting on all of mine. But it's the fun of gardening. I'm still watching, and I'm still in the process of all of those things growing and all of that. So it's really, really, really kind of fun. And let's see. So here, let's see. Real quick, what did I write down? Oh yes. And you were just here. Let's mention the next trip that we're gonna is still a couple months away. Well, a month and a half. It's still getting close though. Everybody at the National Heirloom Expo is gearing up, and they're getting ready to get that really great fun event all started up and everything too. So that'll be the next trip for us, as I was mentioning earlier, when we're gonna get out and go and do our annual coverage of the National Heirloom Expo. I've kind of got some different ideas of some things I want to do. And if you go back and check out this last year's, I did a 3 parts, 3 different episodes, focusing on 3 different areas. And so I want to kind of maybe take that concept and do it just a little bit more, because there's a lot more that they have to offer there at the expo too. And just hopefully I'm going to be able to kind of be able to figure out and get being a one-man kind of crew when it comes to doing that. I come up with some of these big ideas and I want to do this and that, and I come to find out it's like, oh, well, if I want to do this, I got to do that. And you're running around, you're trying to get things done and get that all done together and stuff. But I'm going to try to work on a really well-processed delegation of my time while I'm there in order to capture all of the key elements of the National Heirloom Expo that I want to share with all of you out there who don't necessarily get to join in and go there. But if you do and you have the opportunity to go to the National Heirloom Expo for gardeners, for food enthusiasts, growers, farmers, organic market gardeners, all that sort of stuff, all of the people who just really enjoy that sort of stuff, this is the like best, most fun you can have. And it's just people all over you can hang out and talk with about all sorts of stuff all day. Just some great talks, lots of education, lots of different things that they do, seed swaps. They have the big expo, the room where they show off all of these great, wonderful, different harvests that they've gotten in and all of that, and like the big squash pyramid tower that they have that they're known for. And then they have a lot of great vendors and people who show up and bring their products or different things that they got there that are just really great things, great things there at the Heirloom Expo. I can't say enough about it. I really enjoy. I've made some really great friends through the expo. I've really got to do some really wonderful stuff. It's created some really awesome opportunities for us here at the Urban Gardener, and I just really looking forward to this year. And we've got a couple of people I'm already in communication with, and they're coming and they're going to be going to the expo, so we'll be able to get together and talk with them and be able to kind of do all that sort of stuff. And one of the things and obviously maybe here you can kind of tell too with the live Wednesdays and everything, one of the days that of the expo is a Wednesday, so hopefully I'm going to be able to work out and get set up with, and I'm hoping that there's some sort of Wi-Fi or some sort of setup I can get done, maybe get a hotspot or something like that set up that can help run a live stream, so we can set up and do a live stream right there from the National Heirloom Expo. I would love actually to just set this camera up right in the middle of the walkway, everything, and have people passing by us and everything while we're sitting down and talking with people, and do something. We can get some people to sit down with us maybe and have a fun type of live type of experience at the National Heirloom Expo. So that was one of my big ideas. Really would love to be able to put that together. That's just something hopefully to look forward to when it comes to National Heirloom Expo, is to get to see some of that cool coverage, and as well as all the really great videos and things that I want to put together for the Urban Gardener. And what got this all started and talked about was Kyle there at Growing Up Garden, getting to go and visit with him because he's right on the way. So just right on the way, get to stop by and visit his garden, visit with him and his family, see the kids again, do another video. That would be just really fun. I'm looking forward to being able to do those sort of things as well again, as some other stuff too I got planned. I've got a few other ideas around the Bay Area there too, so I'm hoping to really take some bit of extra time, be able to put together some really fun episodes, because I want to kind of make up for a little bit of the time that we didn't get to do in a trip up north towards Portland and Seattle like I was planning on doing. But so kind of gear up and make up for some of that time on that sort of trip, and get some really fun garden adventures for us to film and put together and make some really great videos. Which, it's one of the great fun parts about doing this channel and being able to do all this sort of stuff, is the opportunity to get out of the house here, get out of the home gardens, and go out and meet some of you people out there who are watching and viewing the channel, or have your own channels too, which is really fun to get and talk with other people who are doing a similar thing as I'm doing through YouTube and all that sort of stuff, and to be able to connect with those sort of things as well. But also just really great gardeners who are out there gardening, whether they're just showing their gardens off on Instagram, like Amy Bauer did with her garden. And actually, another thing I did glad I thought about that. Wanted to mention she has put out a couple of more videos on her YouTube channel. So that's really kind of exciting to see somebody really kind of step in and get started and going with their YouTube channel in some sort of way, since getting to meet with them and visit with them, and to do a really cool, fun interview and tour of her garden that she has growing right there in the city of Los Angeles and Santa Monica, in just a little driveway space, using patio space and all that sort of stuff. So if you haven't seen that episode, go back and check out the Amy Bauer Front Yard Veggies episode. I'm going to try to remember to get down and put a link to hers and other people's episodes that or channels and whatnot that we're talking about here, so y'all can go and check out those different channels too, because that's another, like I said, real fun thing about doing this channel, is to be able to connect with these other people. So I'm just as happy to be able to have people go right from here to their channels and go watch and do all that sort of stuff too. I encourage people to connect with and do those sort of things, because it's what, you know, the garden community out there is really just awesome people, awesome people doing really fun things with their gardens and all of that sort of stuff. So it's really fun to be able to get out and, you know, meet all of you and be able to feature you on my channel, talk about you, and hopefully, you know, if somebody hasn't heard of your channel, get to be able to send them your way and do that sort of thing for others out there too, especially as we're growing here on our channel, through being able to meet and collaborate with other people and do that sort of stuff, you know. So that's one of the, you know, real great opportunities in doing a channel like this, you know, is to be able to do that and get out and meet you guys. So hopefully more viewers, those sort of things too. Maybe some sense, I'm not sure if we have, if you are going to the National Heirloom Expo, go down in the comment section below, you know, let me know. And then maybe if you're going there, maybe we can set something up and we'll have like maybe like a little sit down get together or something like that, and have like a little viewer type of get together at the Heirloom Expo, because that would be something that would be really fun to do, you know. So you know, get down in the comments and let me know if that's something you plan on doing, and you know, maybe we can sit down and talk about the gardens or something like that in a live chat or something too, as we were talking about earlier. So lots of fun things. Lots of really cool stuff going on here with the channel and all of that, and just really great to be able to share all of that sort of stuff with all of you guys out there, and have you all come along with me and enjoy this sort of thing that we're doing here on the channel too. You know, as I've talked about here, 200 newer subscribers in the last couple of weeks. We're reaching 100 episodes. You know, like, what is it? I think we're almost at 1,800 total subscribers. That's just amazing. It's amazing. I couldn't believe it when I got to 100. To be at 1,800, to be looking at 2,000 possible subscribers here by time we get to the National Heirloom Expo too. So, you know, that's just really awesome. And it's just really cool to be able to have you all along with me there and do that stuff, and to be able to share what's going on with the gardens and all of that stuff here too, and also to be able to share with what's going on in your gardens too, like with Kyle sharing there from Growing Up Garden, his cool zucchini harvest that he got to have, you know. So that's awesome to hear about. I love hearing about all that stuff from you guys, whether it's on a live chat right here right now, or if you're watching on the replay in the comments below, or if it's one of the other episodes. If you're going back and you're watching some of the other episodes, put comments down below. Let me know what you think about things that are growing, the methods, things that you're trying, things that are working for you. If you've tried something that we've done right here on our channel and whatnot, and it's working for you too, or not, either way, I want to hear about all that sort of stuff, you know. And that's really what this opportunity here on Live Wednesdays is just to kind of get together and be able to chat about that, the gardens, the channel, all that sort of stuff, and, you know, kind of keep connected on a one-on-one level. And then you know, as well as being able to put out what I put most of the work into when it comes to the channel, is making the actual episodes for the Urban Gardener. And I really, you know, those are fun to really put together and spend the time editing and all that sort of stuff. So he says he texted us some photos. So yep, as soon as I get off here, I'm gonna take a look at some of those photos and see what you got growing on there. Really looking forward to checking that out and everything. Especially, like I said, looking forward to seeing my own plants get to that sort of development and start producing some actual zucchinis for me and all that too. So wow. I really had hope there too as we were getting ready and getting started with this whole thing, when it came to this Windows update and everything. It was like it was running through, it did one thing, but then of course, an update does this and then it does that and then it does another thing. And this last thing still, it's literally only at 18%. And then it went to that, I think, just shortly after we started the live stream here. So an hour into it, the computer is definitely not there. So what a bummer. But everything seems to be going along just fine as far as I can tell. Nobody's mentioned any sort of problems with the stream, which is mainly what that's for, is to be able to see if there's any sort of problems with the stream as it's going through and all of that. And well, also to be able to really kind of keep tabs on the comments too, because the comments show up here on the phone as I'm watching, as we're filming here. They show up, but then they kind of disappear. And then you have to go back in and you have to kind of look for it again and find it. If so if you're not reading it fast enough, it can kind of go away on you, and having the computer really helps because you can just kind of keep that comment there, it's there, and keep an eye on everything that's growing there. But awesome. I think that we're getting to the point here where we're heading off to the end of this live stream, unless there's anything anybody wants to share with us out there. I'd love to talk about anything else, any questions or anything like that you might have. We can do that or whatnot. But I just kind of wanted to, just kind of again, thank you all for, following along here on a Wednesday afternoon or evening for everybody, and talk about our gardens, talk about gardening, talk about this channel, and some of the things that we got growing on and all of that sort of stuff, and have that opportunity to do that. And I hope that as we continue to move forward and people just really get used to the idea that this is here every Wednesday, that we'll have a lot more traffic, we'll have a lot more to be able to talk about and to be able to go and discuss and all of that too, as we move forward with more live Wednesdays and everything. But right now it's just a lot of me kind of rambling on about things that are going on with the channel and different things that I wanted to kind of discuss and add a little extra to from what you get to see on the videos and all of that too. Plus, just kind of be able to talk about and, kind of keep up with where we are with what's going on with the channel and all of that sort of stuff. And also, once again, before we head off here and everything, I kind of want to once again send some well wishes and thoughts out to Nancy and her daughter at the hospital, and hope to see her again coming up here in some live streams. And I know it's really important for her to be taking care of her family and all of that. So it's really kind of just something I want to make sure that, and maybe if everybody else can too, get in the comments below, send some thoughts out there. It's just kind of a real bummer when, we got to see our children go through some really tough issues like that, and especially something that's as severe as what sounds with what's going on with Nancy's daughter there in the intensive care unit right now. I'm just hoping that some of the things that are going on are going to improve, and we'll get some messages from her about some things happening then on a brighter side with that issue. I hope that they can get out of the hospital as soon as possible and heal from this issue. I believe it's a lung infection is what it is, and that's just not really good. Those are really, really tough things to go through, and especially for a young kid, and one of your own children. So, a lot of thoughts out there for you, Nancy, and I hope when you're watching this replay that, you get a lot of that love from all of us here at the Urban Gardener, and know and understand that we're here thinking about you and your family, and I hope everything's going to be well. And on that note, we're going to wrap it all up here for us here on the Urban Gardener. I'm just thank you all so much for listening along and following along here on our live stream. All of you who've, you know, visited us right here with us live and commented with us, from Grown Up Garden to JDS at the beginning. Um, right here we've got Patrice's projects. Oh no, I missed it. Oh gosh, Patrice, yes, another one right there, who we got to visit with here. I'm gonna go on for a minute, but Patrice, just another wonderful, wonderful viewer of ours, and has her own channel. I'm gonna try to, or you can link through her comment there or whatnot. She's got a wonderful channel, and all of that. Get to go and visit her again too. She's right on the way to the National Heirloom Expo too, and get to see her at the National Heirloom Expo hopefully this season and all of that too. So those would be, like I said, some really, really wonderful things to look forward to here on the Urban Gardener as we move on with our gardening adventure and all of that sort of stuff out there too. So like I said, one more time, love you, Nancy. Thank you so much for all of what you do for our channel and all of that sort of stuff, and all of our thoughts and everything here at the Urban Gardener are with you right now. And please, hopefully we get to hear from you soon. And everybody else out there who's been watching this live stream, please leave a nice comment down below for her. And I don't know how to stop. I guess I'll see you all next week. We'll see you on the next episode, the next live stream on Wednesdays. Thanks, everybody.